Yes, almost 92,000 footy fans are on the edge of their seats at the G as they watch one of the closest premierships in decades.
It took 72 years for this moment to be realised.
The longest premiership drought in football history is over. For the first time in 72 years, the Swans are champions of the AFL.
The longest premiership drought in the game's history, broken with red and white tears of triumph flowing from all points of an emotion-charged MCG.
Going. Mate, they're a fantastic bunch of guys. We totally deserve the win today. It's been a fantastic season, so we'll look forward to it.
Paul Roos leading the Swans to perhaps the most famous and significant premiership in memory. Thoughts of the Bloods of old rekindled, football's nationalisation now truly complete.
And to all my brothers, 22 Bloods, thanks very much.
To the people who have waited 72 years to see South Melbourne / Sydney Swans win the premiership, here it is!
For the fallen, a home and away season of dominance amounting to nothing. Damien Booth, 10 News.
Well, let's see how the fans out there are celebrating tonight. In the heartland of South Melbourne, here's Mignon Henny.
Thanks, Mal. Well, yes, as you can see behind me, the fans are well and truly happy with today's win. The Swans may have flown north to Sydney more than 20 years ago, but I can reassure you of this, that their presence and spirit is alive and well here in South Melbourne, the heartland of the Sydney Swans. As we all know, the last time the Swans took home the flag was back in 1933, where the team was known as South Melbourne, and loyal fans have gathered here at the Limerick Hotel, a pub steeped in red and white history, to honour their victorious team. They're in full voice here, just in case you can't hear them, loudly and proudly singing the club song and enjoying a few ales. I just might join them. So, Mal, it's back to you in the studio.
Well done for a lass from Western Australia. And it's not just in South Melbourne. Everywhere, fans perched in pubs, clubs and private homes, riding a wave of emotions as their teams battled it out.
Those with no ticket to the G gathered with mates and a cold one at the birthplace of the Swans. Confidence high among the red and white.
And I think we'll win for sure.
And it seems there are no boundaries to their devotion.
I flew down just to be at this pub for this game.
But some Eagles dared to swoop into the enemy nest.
Isn't it intimidating?
No, not at all. They're no good, Swan supporters. They're no good.
Passions ran hot in home states amid the battles and the triumphs. Sydney siders catching the fever.
While for the most part the Sydney fans claimed the pubs as home territory, it was a different story at Federation Square, where the teams were more evenly matched.
Eagles and Swans rubbing feathers to watch the match. Such a big day demands stamina. Heavyweights of the AFL at the traditional matchday brekkie. The rivalry between political sides forgotten for just a couple of hours.
Melbourne deserves the title of the sporting capital of Australia.
Even with no Victorian team represented. Nicole Strawn, 10 News.
Well, we've seen how Melbourne responded. Let's see what's happening up in Sydney itself. Here's Ebony Ferranda. Ebony?
Hi Mel, well the atmosphere here is absolutely electric here at the Swans base. The fans could hardly believe it when the siren went, and after 72 long years they found out that Sydney will be bringing home the premiership flag. The red and white fever has certainly hit Sydney right around. They've been celebrating ever since this morning, packing into pubs and clubs and live sides right around the heart of Sydney, and it's just been absolutely amazing. They can't believe it, the Swans have finally won, and when that final siren blew, the cheers here were deafening, I can tell you that. But for now, I think there's a lot more celebrating to be done here in Sydney, so I'll go back to you in the studio.
Well done. Thank you, Ebony. Ebony Ferranda reporting there from Sydney. Back here in Melbourne, of course, it all started early as thousands of die-hard fans were hunting tickets, some braving chilly conditions to queue overnight. And it appears scalpers are becoming a dying breed.
With 7,000 seats up for grabs, members ringed the MCG, many arriving well before sunrise.
We left home at 2 o'clock, so we got here about 3.
We got here just before 5 o'clock this morning.
The annual rush for seats a tradition worth the lack of sleep.
You like the lining up, do you?
No,
but you've got to see the footy.
Some interstate fans making the long journey on hope alone.
I haven't missed a grand final down here since 1983.
It's always a big risk coming all the way from Perth to such a big event with no tickets and no plan really.
Scalpers also a rare sight, a crackdown netting police at least 7 arrests. The release of more than 100 standing room only tickets also helping put a dent in the illegal trade.
It's going to be a big day, so it'll be great to be a part of the atmosphere anyway.
Kelly Morgan, 10 News.
Well, a former Swan himself, Neil Cordy, joins us live now from the jubilant winners' rooms. And if you've got any voice left, Neil, describe for us, if you would, the feeling there.
Well, if you can imagine 72 years of waiting, that's how it's long. That's how long it's been, Mal, since the Swans tasted success way back in 1933. They've taken the longest road possible to this grand final victory. First week of the finals, they went to Perth and lost there in dramatic circumstances. Then they had to go back to Sydney. They faced Geelong, and of course Nick Davis was the hero there. He kicked 4 goals in the last quarter to grab that last-minute victory for them. Perhaps the Cats are thinking maybe this could have been us right now. And then, of course, they went and met the Saints here at the MCG last weekend. And then today's match, they led by 4 goals halfway through the second quarter, but then it was all the Eagles. They wrestled the lead back, and then it was just goal for goal in the last quarter. And as you can imagine, the feeling in these rooms is just one of absolute elation.
Neil Cordy, you're a champion. You've held up well. More grand final coverage a little later in this bulletin.